Hello future CS, welcome back to my channel, your one-stop guide for everything related to CA exams. If you are new here, I am Pooja, a chartered accountant. I have an experience of working for Ernst & Young and KPMG, and I help CA aspirants like you succeed with practical tips, strategies and support. So guys, if you want to ace corporate and other laws in the upcoming CA Inter exams, you cannot miss this video. Recently, ICAI BOS held a webinar packed with insider tips straight from the source, and I have summarized it all for you in this video. From the exact question paper pattern to the best sources to study from, how to manage time in the exam, type of questions you can expect in the exam, and even how to crack the MCQs and descriptive question. Everything is covered in this video. So stay tuned till the end because these strategies might just be the game changer you need for your coming attempt. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Every subscription works like a motivation for me. So let's start this video. So guys, when you visit my channel, in the playlist section, you can see there is a separate playlist for CA Inter exams. So in this playlist, you can find different type of study plan, subject specific guidance and much more videos. And there is also a playlist for CA GPT for students. In this playlist, I have made different videos in which I have shown as to how you can use CA GPT while preparing for your exams. So do visit my channel and watch these videos, and there are various other playlists as well which might be helpful for you. So first the question paper pattern was discussed in the webinar. So there will be two divisions. Division A is MCQ. This is for 30 marks. So MCQ you will have case scenario MCQ as well as independent MCQ. And then division B you will have descriptive type which is for 70 marks. So in this question number 1 is compulsory, and then out of the remaining 5 questions you can attempt any 4 questions, that is one choice is there. The next point discussed in the webinar was the sources from where you should be studying. So for the September 2025 exam, the study material edition relevant is July 2024. And then you have the MCQ dashboard. So when you log in into the BOS portal, you can find the MCQ portal. So it was suggested that you should practice different types of MCQ from here. And then you have to also practice the mock test paper. So it was suggested that the mock test paper should be practiced in the exam like environment itself. You should write the mock test paper within 3 hours and you should not refer any notebook while attempting the mock test paper. And once the ICAI uploads the answer of the mock test paper, you should compare your answer with the ICAI answer and you have to check as to where you have gone wrong, so that you can correct these errors before you appear for the real exam. And then you should also go through the previous year papers and the suggested answer. So it was recommended that at least past 5 attempts paper you have to see. So for past 5 attempts paper, see what concepts were asked in the exam and mark that in the study material, and you can go through those concepts. And you have to attempt both the series of mock test paper. And for MCQ, you should also go through the case scenario booklet, because in your exam, case scenario based MCQ also will be asked. And also the ICAI has published Saransh, which can be used for revision purpose. So this is also available in the BOS knowledge portal. So in Saransh, each of the chapter is given in summary format. And apart from this, if you are having any doubts on any particular chapter, you can attend the ICAI live virtual classes, or you can attend the live virtual revisionary classes. And also in case you miss attending this live, the recording of this is available on the YouTube, so you can attend these as well. And also you should study the revision test papers as well. And it is also very important to study the relevant amendments. So for the September 2025 exams, the amendments till 28th February 2025 is applicable. And these amendments are available both in the revision test paper as well as on the BOS knowledge portal. So the link to the amendments applicable for the upcoming September 2025 exam was shared in the webinar. I have attached the link in the description below. You can download it from there. It is very important to go through these amendments. The next important point discussed in this webinar was how to manage time in the exam. So before the starting of the exam, you have 15 minutes reading time. So you have to make the optimum use of this 15 minutes reading time. So first go through all the questions quickly. So the first question will be compulsory in descriptive part, and then out of remaining 5 you have to attempt any 4 questions. So select the question that you will be attempting first from all the question, and also mark the order in which you will be attempting the question. So first answer that question which you know the best, and also allocate an estimated time for each question based on their difficulty level and marks carried, and also keep aside 10 to 15 minutes for revision and adhere to the time allocated. So in the 3 hours exam time, 20 to 25 minutes you will keep aside for MCQ, and then 10 to 15 minutes will be for revision, and the balance time you will have to allocate between the descriptive question based on the marks carried to the question and as well as the complexity of the question. And also write each answer in commensuration with the mark which the question carries. Ensure your answer is precise and to the point. And after deciding all this, when the writing time begins, before you start writing the answer, read the question again. And also give more time to the first compulsory question, because usually this question will be a bit difficult question. The next point covered in the webinar was what types of question will come in the exam. So basically in this corporate and other law you have 3 sections. So first you have the company law. So in company law you will get case scenario based question. This will be application based question, and also you will get direct theory question as well. Then in the Limited Liability Partnership Act you will have application based question and direct theory question. Then in the General Clauses Act, FEMA and interpretation of rules, here you will get mostly direct theory question relating to provisions. So in this part you will not get case scenario much. So mainly the case scenario questions will come from company law part itself. And some application based question might come from the LLP part. Now we will see how to answer the MCQs. So the option in the MCQs are such that you have to have a good knowledge of the provisions and apply the same correctly to the case on hand to choose the correct option. Because every MCQ has 4 options and all the 4 options are very near to each other. Hence you have to choose the most appropriate answer. In case scenario, read the case scenario carefully. The MCQs arise from the facts of the case scenario. Hence, the MCQ should be read in line with the case scenario. So, it was suggested that for case scenario based MCQ, read the facts clearly. Then read the MCQ, then again go to the relevant fact in the case scenario and then solve the case scenario. For the MCQ, answer on the OMR sheet itself. So read the instruction given by the exam department carefully on how to answer MCQ. Mark only one answer to the MCQ. First read the facts carefully. Usually the first pair of the case scenario will be about the company. So note whether it's a private company, public company or one person company. Then there will also be a description about nature of business, restriction of business. So read all this carefully first. After reading this, first think as to which section or which provision is the case scenario based on. And then read the MCQ again. And after that, go to the relevant part of the case scenario again. And then read and analyze the provision and then answer. Always While studying, read the provision in its entirety to have a clear understanding of the law so that you can answer twisted and tricky question also in the exam. So mostly you will have analysis and application based MCQ itself. And there is no negative marking for MCQ. And each MCQ will carry 2 marks. So totally there will be 15 MCQs of 2 marks. That is totally 30 marks. Next we will discuss how to answer descriptive questions. That is case scenario based question as well as practical question. So the first step will be recall the legal provision involved in the given statement. Then you will have to correlate the legal provision and the question and then give the relevant conclusion. So there can be integrated case scenario questions as well, combining different provisions. So there are 3 steps here. So first you have to mention the facts of the case and then you have to mention the legal provision involved. And then you have to correlate the facts to the provision and then you have to give the conclusion. So the answer should be complete in itself. So there is stepwise marking here. So it is important to write in the stepwise format as I told now. That is, first write the facts of the case, then the provision involved, and then what is the legal issue the question is asking. And then correlate the fact to the provision and give a adequate conclusion. And also it is important that you check the question is for how much marks. And then as per the marks of the question, you decide the length of the answer. And also answer relating to what the question is asking. Do not write anything extra. And mention only the provisions which are relevant to the question. Now we will see how to answer the direct theory question. So highlight the main points with brief description. And you can also write bullet points with headings. Explain with the help of example wherever possible and break the answer into brief points or paragraph. And then there are some other key points which has to be considered while writing the answer in law. Let's see what this is. So many a times it was noticed that students resort to giving generalized answer without capturing the exact provision. So this might lead to loss of marks. So it is very important to write the exact provision. And the answer should be given in legible English language. And also shorthand notes, diagrams should be avoided. And you should also avoid using short form, WhatsApp language, SMS language while answering the question. This will lead to loss of mark. And also note, if abbreviations are to be used, first define the abbreviation, then you may use the short form. For example, you are writing an answer relating to one-person company and the term one-person company is going to come many times in the answer. So in the first para in the starting, when you start the answer, you can write one-person company and in the bracket you can write OPC. And then later on in the other para, when the same word one-person company comes, you can mention as OPC. So in the first time it is important to define the abbreviation. And mention the important section numbers at least in the exam. However, do not write wrong section number. If you don't remember the section number, don't write the wrong section number because this will lead to deduction of marks. So in this case, you can write as per the provision of Company Act or as per the provision of Partnership Act, and like this you can start the answer. You can write in your own words, but the concept should be written correct. That is, the legal language should be used. There is no need to do rote learning and there is no need to write word by word. You should correlate the fact to the provisions and give conclusion. However, you should use legal language and key words should be used. Whatever keywords are there in the provision, you should ensure you use those keywords. There should be professionalism in your language and your language should be simple and appealing. And also, whenever you are writing any answer if there are any case laws relating to that, it is important to quote these case laws and write the answer in commensuration with the marks allotted to the question. And if any relevant information is missing in the question, and there are two possibilities. Answer in any way, but give the assumption and answer accordingly. So you have to carefully write as to what assumption you are taking, because this will help the examiner to understand your point of view. So ensure you write assumption as a part of your answer, because assumption also will carry marks. And read the verbs in the question carefully. That is, see whether the question is asking to enumerate, explain or define. Because enumerate means to analyze. Define means you have to just write the definition as per the act. And see whether the question is asking to conclude. So if the question is asking to conclude, you have to correlate the facts to the case in hand, and then you have to give the relevant conclusion. And one more important point while interpreting law is, it's important to be careful with the words and with the word or, as they can change the entire meaning of the section. And means all the listed conditions must be met, while or means fulfilling any one condition is enough. So misreading them can lead to incorrect conclusion. So always pause and check whether the law requires all conditions or just one condition. While studying also, be very careful about these two words. And one more important point is, do not do selective study, because in the exam one case scenario itself might relate to different provision, or it is also possible that in the question there will be different subparts, right? And each subpart may be relating to different chapters. So it is very important to study all the chapters. Then only you will be able to solve the entire case scenario or solve all the subparts relating to a question. So company law part will come for 60 marks, and limited liability, partnership and the other law, that is the General Clauses Act, FEMA, interpretation of statutes, all this will come for minimum 40 to 38 marks. And you have to answer for full 100 marks. And also one more point suggested was, it is important to take calculator also for law paper, because there might be questions where there are calculations like date calculation, time period calculation, penalty calculation, limit calculation or CSR related calculation. So it is important to carry your calculator as well. And also, as I mentioned previously, wherever there is ambiguity in the question, it is important to write the assumption. And the assumption should be reasonable, and it should be logical assumption, and it should not be vague. So that's your complete takeaway from the ICAI BOS webinar for CA Inter Corporate and Other Law. If you apply these tips, you won't just write the exam. You'll write it smartly and with confidence. So basically this webinar was conducted for September 2025 attempt. However, if you are giving the exam in January 26 or May 26, you can still follow the points in the webinar, except the part that your edition of study material will be different and the date till when the amendments will be applicable for you will be different. So apart from this, how to write the answer, question paper pattern, the errors to avoid, how to write MCQs, all of these points will be same itself. So if you found this video helpful, do give it a like, share it with your CA friends and also hit that subscribe button for more exam focused updates and strategies. All the best for your preparation, and I will see you all in the next video.